Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another live stream as we talk about a very important topic. What is happening or what will happen to the 2025-2026 FAFSA form? There's been some information, some things happening over the past few weeks. Initially, it was supposed to start on October 1st. It was supposed to open on that, historically accurate date that we've had over the past few years, except for last year. But things seem like they might be changing, and it might be looking like it's something similar to what happened last year. And we will be talking and discussing everything regarding that today. I'm here with Francisco. How are you, Francisco?
Doing well, yeah. As you mentioned, the FAFSA is probably top 3 in terms of topics that people ask us questions about, that people are confused by. So we'll give a little bit of information as to what it is, how it works, what does it unlock, when you should fill it out, and all that good stuff. But then the main focus is going to be on the changes and basically the whispers in the wind that the FAFSA will be opening up later on as it did last year. So for those of you that are joining for the first time, if you could do us a favor and maybe put in the chat at number 1 if you're joining for the first time on our live streams, or number 2 if you're someone who's watched this in the past. Again, this is going to help boost the live, have it be recommended to more people, helps us grow, helps more people learn. So yeah, that's kind of the end goal of these live streams, give us much free information out, and then also help our community grow. But going back to the topic, as far as the FAFSA, and I see a lot of people saying number 1, welcome for the first time. Thank you for commenting. As far as today's topic, as I was mentioning, and as Laura alluded to earlier, historically, the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA, opens up October 1st. Now, a lot of people are confused, think of the FAFSA as a scholarship. They think that is just something you fill out and you either qualify and get money or don't get money, but the money comes from an entity called FAFSA. No, the FAFSA is a form that assesses the family's finances. It's called free. It stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And basically what it does is, through the questions that it asks, it comes up with a number. It used to be called the EFC, Estimated Family Contribution, but as of last year, that changed to the Student Aid Index, the SAI. And basically this number is meant to be an index that assesses the family's financial makeup. And with this family financial makeup, then different entities, starting with the federal government, they're able to see whether or not the family has financial need. And then the federal government sees, okay, this family has financial need. They either qualify or don't qualify for, the Pell Grant, or they qualify or don't qualify for federal work study. And then also, a lot of people don't know this, but different entities, including the universities that you'll be applying to, and even some private institutions or state aid programs, will look at the numbers from the FAFSA to assess if there's need or not. So just so that we're all on the same page, that is the very summarized, brief explanation as to what the Free Application for Federal Student Aid Index is. And yeah, basically the whole topic or what we want to share about the FAFSA in terms of the news cycle, is that in other years, the timeline goes as follows. Students make their list of colleges, and if you have not yet already done so, something that we work with our students inside Best College Aid, our program where we help students get to college with scholarships, we tell them, okay, you should have your list of colleges done. If not yet, if not by now, you should have gotten it done, weeks ago. But if you didn't do that, get it done ASAP, so that you start applying to them on the early application deadlines, October, November, December. And then come October 1st, you should be filling out all of the financial aid documents, the FAFSA, the CSS profile, whatever it's needed by the schools and the universities. However, this year, as Laura mentioned, is not a typical year. Nope. Last year was not a typical year either. Last year was actually the first year where it all changed. Historically, the form was around 100 questions, and then they had an optional tool where you could link it to it was called the IRS Data Retrieval Tool. And basically, you were able to link your IRS records to the form and then automatically sync them. And again, that was an option that we recommended students use. What they did is they went from that tool being optional to that being integrated into the form. And it made it so that once you were filling out the form, it wasn't as manual as much of, oh, okay, line 27 says this, I'm supposed to put it here, but rather be more automatic. However, that came along with some glitches. And last year, when they were first integrating it, it moved the deadline from October to December. And then in December, they said, oops, sorry, it's not going to be ready, December 31st. And then December 31st came around and it came out, but there was a lot of glitches. So it was a whole show, a whole mess last year to get that done.
People were even in February still having problems. So it was on their end, the federal government, and it was they were having lots of trouble, and it was causing a lot of stress, a lot of complications for families.
Right, and then this year was supposed to be back to norm. This year was supposed to be back to October 1st. However, the glitches that were happening had to do a lot with, students, especially middle and low income families, not having their data accurately reported, or the student aid index being reported was not necessarily accurate. I know a lot of students who had parents without social security numbers they were also being affected. So to ensure that none of that happens again, they pushed the date back, or they're going to push the date back to a December 1st opening. We're going to be talking about later on about recommendations for our students that we teach inside Best College Aid, but also you might be able to benefit from. And yeah, that's kind of the expectation for this year. What you should be expecting is a later opening date. Now, Laura, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about what they can do, or people watching, what they can do to prepare for this later deadline and make sure they don't leave money on the table.
Of course, yeah. I mean, if your student qualifies for the FAFSA, if citizen, resident, or eligible non-U.S. citizen, what you can start doing now is gathering all the documents that you will be needing to fill out the form, having all that ready. Also, there are rumors that there's going to be a soft launch starting October 1st, which means that some people might have access to the form. So it's important that you don't take this, what we're saying right now, and say, okay, well, I'm going to wait until December 1st. No, you can constantly be checking, create your FAFSA, FSA ID, your account and everything, and make sure it's working, and that information when you create the FSA ID is correct. And constantly be checking, because maybe you could be one of the lucky people who gets access in that soft launch. Maybe you don't. And last year, what a lot of people were doing is they were checking at different times of the day. They were using different browsers. Like if Chrome wasn't working, maybe they would use Safari, or they would use an incognito window instead of their main window, because the cookies made it hard for them to fill out and to get access to their account, because a lot of this is technological glitches and issues that little changes like that can be beneficial. And we will be doing a lot of live streams. We actually, with our members, with our students inside of Best College Aid, we kind of figured out some, I guess, tricks when it came time to fill out the form, to maybe get past that bump of not being able to access. Because as you said, Francisco, it wasn't really about like filling out the form. The issues didn't really arise once the student and the parents were filling out and completing the information. That was actually easier. The form was much easier and more simple than before. The problem was getting access to your account and literally accessing the form and being able to say, like in the movies, I'm in. So hopefully once you're in and you're able to fill it out, we will keep making live streams and talking about this. But yeah, let's expect some changes and some delays, but we just wanted to give you this information and be the first ones to tell you. Maybe you haven't even heard about this, and this is going to apply if you are the parent of a student who's a senior in high school who will be going into college, their freshman year of college, or if your student is a freshman in college and they have to renew the FAFSA, this is going to affect your student as well. So important to keep this in mind.
Right. Yeah. And speaking, one of the things that I want to make sure we get across, because oftentimes we get a comment like this in our DMs or TikTok, Instagram. We're not here to argue what the right methodology or what the right policy is within your household as far as who's going to pay for college. I know some families are of the mentality of, you know what, my student can pay for it themselves. Some families are more along the lines of, I'll contribute as much as I can. But what has to be a reality is that this is a team effort. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because we get a lot of comments of parents saying that, oh, going to college and paying for it is just the student's responsibility. And I want to give out a bit of information that will be helpful to you all. First of all, how scholarships work. Your student is going to be getting a scholarship for one of two reasons: merit or need. And when I say merit, there is academic merit, there is extracurricular merit, there is athletic merit. So you can get a scholarship for being an athlete. For, you got one for being in theater. I got one for leadership from Comcast. It was a private scholarship. So there are different, you can accumulate merit through different ways. The other reason why a student would get a scholarship is from financial need. Now, when I say financial need, is everything that we talked about as far as a student aid index, filling out the FAFSA, the CSS profile, is precisely to determine the family's financial makeup. And the reason why I'm saying that it's a team effort is whether or not you're going to help your student pay for their college education or they're going to do it themselves. Again, that's up to you. But what is non-negotiable and what's a reality is that they're not going to ask them for their cousins' tax returns, their friends' tax returns, their grandparents' tax returns. They're going to ask for the parents' tax returns from 2 years prior. So it is going to be the parents' finances that are going to determine the student aid index, the level of eligibility for need-based awards. So even if the contribution is as small as saying, hey, this is how you access, the IRS data retrieval tool for my end, here's, social security number, or, in the past it was here, my tax returns, go nuts filling it out. That's fine, but you have to be involved so that they even have a fighting chance to be considered for this awards. Now, also, another thing that I want to explain, because I see a lot of, controversy as far as whether or not it's worth it to fill the FAFSA, if you're going to get awards or not, because a lot of people comment that, oh, I filled out the FAFSA, but I didn't get any money. It's not worth it. I also want to explain that FAFSA gives out money, or scholarships are going to be given out, whether it's one of two ways: directly or indirectly. And what I mean by directly is there are awards that you fill out a questionnaire, you submit an essay, you send your scores, and you're going to get an award because you're applying for a private scholarship that you meet the requirements for. There are going to be other sorts of scholarships that are distributed indirectly. So, for example, the FAFSA is a little bit of both, because with the FAFSA, if you qualify by your financial need, you would automatically and directly get the federal Pell Grant. However, there are going to be institutional awards, so meaning the college or university that your student is going to be applying to or attending to might give you the presidential scholarship or the whatever Francisco scholarship if you have the merit. But if you read the fine print, it might say, oh, and a requirement to get this award is for you to fill out and complete the free application for federal student aid. This is the case also with a lot of the state aid awards. So correct. You would be doing yourself a disservice, even though these are indirect ways of getting money or qualifying for scholarships, and they might not say, and you got this Francisco whatever scholarship because you filled out the FAFSA. It's not going to say that, but it was a requirement for you to get it. So a lot of people kind of are not able to identify the requirements and what they did to get an award versus what was actually needed of them. So do yourself a favor and don't self-disqualify by not filling out these forms, because one thing that we need to consider is what they unlock by filling them out, and the fact that the funds that you can access to through the FAFSA are disbursed on a first-come, first-served basis. So the earlier you fill it out, the more you prepare, the more you gather the documentation beforehand, the larger the sum of money that you'd be eligible for and that you could potentially acquire. And again, once you fill out those forms and they're on, an external committee's hands or a university's evaluating you for this award, blah, 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 that's out of your hands. And again, I'm not here to argue whether it's a broken system or it's fair, it's not fair, and college board, that's a completely different conversation. What we're here to do in Best College Aid is give you all the information at your disposal so that you can do everything that is in your hand, so that it's not up to you, and that you did everything you could to get all the money that you're eligible to receive based on your particular situation. That's why we do these live streams. That's why in a little bit, Laura is going to talk about additional resources that are available to you and your family here in Best College Aid. But again, the whole point is for you to do everything you can to get or be in consideration for all the money that you're eligible to receive.
Exactly. Super important that, like you said, you're doing everything and taking all the steps necessary. And that actually answers, we here during these live streams, we like to answer the question of the week regarding of the main topic of the presentation. And the main topic of today's presentation was the FAFSA, what is going on, what is happening, and what will happen to the 2025-2026 FAFSA form. And a question that always kind of arises when it's FAFSA time, or honestly, it's any time throughout the year, is if my family makes too much money, or I heard from a friend that they didn't get any federal aid when they filled out the FAFSA, should I even bother filling it out? You have to understand that, and Francisco just explained it, you should always be filling it out because a lot of other scholarships and factors rely on the federal student aid form, the FAFSA. And if you are a citizen, if you are a resident, or if you are an eligible non-U.S. citizen, which means that you qualify for this form, you have to take advantage of this. There are so many students who unfortunately don't qualify for the FAFSA. So take advantage of it. Maybe your family, both parents work, they both have a pretty good income. But remember, there's other things, other scholarships that you could be obtaining and that you could miss out on if you don't fill out this form, okay? And this is for parents and students. When I say you, I'm talking to parents and to students because the college admissions process, as we said earlier, is a team effort and should be a team effort between parents and guardians and students, because unless the student is applying as an independent student and they are filing their own taxes and they are going to be submitting that for the FAFSA, they're going to be needing the parents or their guardians tax information and all that information to fill out these forms, right? So you should definitely be working together. And there's other things, other responsibilities that are the parents' responsibilities and solely the students' responsibilities in the college admissions process. And it's important to know those, which leads me to what Francisco was saying, those additional resources that we have for you, because we are aware that the college admissions process here in the US can be very complicated, maybe sometimes overwhelming. There's a lot of steps, a lot of different parts of the process that the student needs to be aware of. And there's a lot of opportunities that maybe your parents or your student, whoever's watching, you might not know about if you never hear of them, right? So we're here to kind of provide those opportunities and those resources. So if you check out the link in our bio, you will see a free presentation on the 6 secrets to go to college with scholarships. It's a 45-minute presentation where our brother David, who sometimes you see here, and he's also here on social media, he goes over the top 6 things that you need to know, and 6 tips that are going to help you understand the process better and that are going to help you kind of get ahead of that college admissions process, regardless of whether your student is in middle school, starting 9th grade, or even if your student's a senior in high school. So make sure to check it out if you're watching us on TikTok or on Instagram. The link is in our bio. You will learn a lot of tips, and at the end we also talk about how we can help you in a more detailed way, how our Best College Aid membership works, and if you want to join, there's also a discount. So if you were interested in becoming a Best College Aid member, at the end of that presentation, we explain everything, all the benefits of joining Best College Aid, and we also have that discount for you if you do decide to join.
Right. So we're very transparent about this. Basically, when we came to this country, didn't know anything about the college application process. Works very different in Mexico. So my parents, and if you go on Google and you Google private college counselor, you're going to see that they're going to charge anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 for the services. My dad and my mom, they've fought tooth and nail to pay around $10,000 for the services, which resulted in around $600,000 in financial aid scholarship between my siblings and I. That is why years later, after going to college, working in the financial aid admissions office at our schools, and I did an internship in a higher education consortium company that analyzed corporate spending college spending at top tier institutions. And we decided, okay, how can we make all this information that the market charges, thousands of dollars for, available for less? And that is why we created Best College Aid. And again, most 80% of what we do is the social media content that is meant to be free and have conversations like today, live streams like today, to help people out who don't understand how the system works, or want to understand how the system works even better. But we always get DMs, messages, comments after these presentations if there's something that is more all-encompassing and something that can take you from step 8 all the way to the final step, getting to college with scholarships. So for those people, we do have a program, as Laura mentioned, our Best College Aid membership. Very transparent about that. If you're interested in just getting another free presentation, more valuable resources, the first 80% of the presentation is going to be tips like the ones that we've been sharing here today. And if beyond that, you watch this live stream, you watch that presentation, and you're interested in getting, more of a structured, all-encompassing methodology to help you out, that's where we talk and how we explain everything that is included inside the membership. It's basically $10,000 worth of value packaged in the most cost-efficient way. So we package it into an online course that, as you inevitably navigate and have questions, you reach out to us via email, and we have a policy to respond within 24 business hours. And again, that's the way in which we developed a 4-year plan for every student to know exactly what they have to complete every month of every year. Then the tutorials are how to complete it. And then we're there as a safety net for when you get those questions, you reach out to us via our email, chat inside the platform, private Facebook group for members. And then we also have a monthly Q&A session with members. Again, that is the way in which we could package the most amount of value for the least amount, of your dollars. So that is for those of you who are interested. If you just want to get a free presentation, just go to the link in my bio, and then you can just leave right before we start with the offer. But again, we'd rather be overly honest about how Best College Aid works and our business model, and then have you do what you want to do with all that information. But for those of you that sign up and stay till the end for the next 30 minutes, are going to get a 50% off extended to them at the end of that presentation. Just want to put that out there for those of you who are interested.
Exactly. So we wanted to share that with you. Again, the next 30 minutes, that 50% off will be active if you do decide to register to watch that free training. And if you just want to learn free tips, or you just want some additional resources, that presentation was curated and created to put out in the world to provide some information and some helpful tips that can help students, whether you are just starting on this path to college admissions or you have somewhat of a knowledge. This information is going to be helpful for anybody. Trust me. And yeah, if you're interested in joining Best College Aid, take advantage of that discount for the next 30 minutes if you register. And the link to register for this free training, maybe, I know we've said it, but just to clarify, if you're watching us on Instagram or TikTok, the link is in our bio. And if you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, it's in this video's description. You can register there. And then we did get a question about Best College Aid, and will you guys also help us get financial aid or apply for scholarships?
Right. Yeah. So incorporated, for those of you who are interested in the membership, the way that it works is incorporated in the 4-year plan. So again, the way it's structured, once you log in, the first thing you'll see inside our platform is the 4-year planner that will tell you exactly what you should be doing every month of every year. That's the what to do. The how to do it, the tutorials are going to teach you, okay, open up this browser, go to this site, get this information, get these tax returns, fill them out from this year to that year. And as long as you're completing the checklist and following along the course and asking questions as they come up, yes, we cover how to qualify for every type of financial aid and scholarship. So whether it's federal, state, institutional, private scholarships, and whether it is, okay, need-based awards, merit-based awards, it's all incorporated in how, when, and step by step how to complete everything so that you don't leave any, you don't leave money on the table. So as long as you're completing everything inside the course, you will be applying for all the different types of scholarships and awards available. Another question is, once you get a membership, how long does it last? It's a lifetime family membership. So it includes everyone in the household. Everyone in the household, whether it is 3 students, 2 students, 1 student, the parents included, you'll be able to access the videos that we upload every month. We update the videos so that they're, for example, the FAFSA last year changed. We updated it so that it reflected those changes. Same thing whenever the CSS profile changes. Same things whenever the interface with the College Board site changes. We make sure to incorporate those and update them month after month. And as, again, questions come in, anyone in the household, whether it's parents or students, can ask questions. There's no additional cost once you complete the payment, which, again, if you decide to join after the next 30 minutes, so 30 minutes, go ahead, watch the presentation. You'll be redirected if you stay till the end to the sales page with the 50% included in the next 30 minutes. Yes, once you make that payment, you won't have to pay anything else. And again, it is not $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 that you'll have to pay. It's a fraction of that price, especially with the 50% off. So that's what's included. That's how it works. And if you're interested, check out the free presentation, the link in our bio.
Exactly. Well, hopefully this was helpful. If you do decide to trust us and to let us guide you and your family throughout this process, well, we'll see you inside the course. And yeah, check out that free training, check out that information. And thank you all for joining. We did have a lot of people, a lot of questions, a lot of engagement in the chat, and we always strive for that. And also leave us some comments on our posts on what topics you would like us to talk about, what you would be interested in learning, and maybe these podcasts, what we can kind of discuss, so that we can, cater to you guys as well.
And if none of that interests you, but you found the comments and the information that we shared valuable, you can just give us a follow, and that's also very, very much appreciated. Otherwise, we'll see you inside the training, inside the Best College Ed membership, or next week when we do another one of these live streams. Thank you so much, and y'all have a great week.
Bye-bye. Have a good one.